Hey, put them down, boys.
What is that thing on your face?
Yeah, puberty's right around the corner, kid. You can grow your own.
The way that they told this story, it opens us up for, this to be a full-on franchise. There was so much built up nostalgia that, I got to experience while in theaters, but they did definitely have some dope reveals within this movie. Not all of them are super like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. I think that this movie has all the elements that make up an Uncharted game. There's puzzles, there's chases, there's fights, there's gunplay, and there's jokes, right? Was this movie actually really good, or am I just a super hype man? What's going on, Tim? It's your boy G. We back at it again with another episode of the G Files, man. Today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Uncharted, the movie, bruh. I'm super excited for this because if you don't know, Uncharted is one of my favorite game series of all time, and I had high expectations going into this movie. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright, so y'all know me, man. I love to start with love when it comes to these reviews, and I gotta say, bruh, I feel like they stuck pretty true to the game. Now, going into this, like looking at the trailer and things like that, I felt like they were kind of mixing the games in between, like together, but like from an aesthetic standpoint, all the elements of like an Uncharted game was there. So that had me super hyped, and that had me super excited to see, where they're going to take the story, right? A lot of it seems to be taken from the third game, but because of the way that the story is being told, we get to see him grow essentially through like a mentality standpoint throughout the movie. The way that they told this story, it opens us up for, this to be a full-on franchise. So whether or not they stay exactly true to how each game is, I think it's more important to tell a really good story. So when it comes to like the nitty-gritty details of like, okay, this is not exactly how this happened, me as an Uncharted like super fan, I'm still not like hurt by that, because I understand like it's for the greater good of what's to come. And speaking of like what's to come, man, I do think that as far as like an overall movie, going into it and like watching it first initially, bro, like I was so hyped, bro, like, and I had to take a step back because I realized like my kind of like bias when it comes to this thing, because there was so much built up nostalgia that I got to experience while in theaters, and seeing it play out in like the most epic ways possible, it had me hyped, bro. I can't even fake. So when it came to like reviewing this, I wanted to like give myself some time so that I can actually like, okay, was this movie actually really good, or am I just a super hype man? Looking back at it, I do feel like this movie was kind of safe. Like it was kind of not necessarily underwhelming, but for, the adventures that we go on in, the whole collection of the games of Uncharted, even Lost Legacy, like there are some really epic moments that I don't know if they're all necessarily going to make it to the big screen. When I sit back and look and think about like, yo, what did I really take away from this movie? It kind of just feels like an introduction, right? It doesn't really feel as epic as like, I thought it was going to be initially, because I feel like the best moments are yet to come, right? Because in this movie we get introduced to a lot of characters, some that will continue to be in the series and some that won't, and we also got to see the different dynamics between these characters, whether that's Nate and Sully or Nate and Chloe, because also those relationships continue to build as the movie progresses. Me looking at it from my perspective, I know Nate and Sully as the best of friends. They didn't start out that way necessarily, but I've already gone to that climax of their relationship. I understand the full dynamic of it, right? But from a movie standpoint, we have to see that play out, and I do think that Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg do have like really good chemistry when it comes to their relationship as Nate and Sully, because like when we first started the movie, it was like, I don't want to say shaky, but like I still only saw them as the actors that they were. I didn't really buy in just yet.
Hey, kid. A little young for a bartender, aren't you?
A little old for prom, aren't you?
But by the end of the movie, that was Nate and Sully.
Thanks a lot. You almost got me killed.
Clockwise, Sully.
Well, it was 50-50, so I made a guess.
Clearly.
We do start to see changes in these characters. Mainly Nate, but Sully will definitely turn around soon enough. Now, as far as like the plot goes for the movie, I think that it was, like I said earlier, kind of safe, and it was very concise when it came to how long things took and the pacing of the movie. I think that the whole Chloe backstab slash anti-hero situation was like a good turning point for the movie to get into the end game, because there definitely were some surprises that, you know, I wasn't really expecting in the movie initially until they actually happened. But they did definitely have some dope reveals within this movie. Not all of them are super like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, but it did happen, so I gotta give them credit on that. Now, one thing that I won't give them credit on, and probably like my biggest takeaway from this movie, is that it doesn't need to be PG-13. I think that the PG-13 rating took away from how real the games really got. You know, like people really got bodied in Uncharted. Like there wasn't a whole lot of gunplay when it came to like just the different fights that happened, but there just like wasn't like a lot of blood. There wasn't a lot of like gory stuff, which I get, like seeing that on the big screen versus like watching it playing a game. That's probably a different aesthetic. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be like on Game of Thrones level, but if you're gonna have moments where somebody deliberately, like, I don't know, let's say like cut somebody's throat, right, for there to be like no blood, it just looks weird. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna do that, don't show the body, you know, or maybe like just don't do a certain close-up of that, you know, get a different angle so that we know that it happens. But I don't know, that's just me. I feel like if it wasn't PG-13, they could have took this movie to the next level. Now maybe they changed that rating in the future movies to come, but I'm gonna be real, bruh, like Uncharted is not really like necessarily a kid's game. A lot of kids would probably be scared to even play it. So for this movie to come out with the PG-13 rating, like it definitely had me a little disappointed. Yo, what's good, y'all? I am pausing this video to let you guys know that we officially have a Patreon. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a Patreon? Well, let me lay it out for you. Basically, our Patreon is called the Donatoverse. And in the Donatoverse, you have the opportunity to not only get early content, but also get exclusive Patreon only videos where we're discussing your favorite fandoms and also having dope conversations, bringing all of our communities across the whole metaverse, right? Because that's a thing now, and dropping it all in one place. Now there are 4 different tiers that you can join. I don't care which one you choose, just know that your support is greatly appreciated. So tap in with us, Patreon.com/Donato, and let's get back to the video. But now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about some of these feats, bro. I think that this movie has all the elements that make up an Uncharted game. There's puzzles, there's chases, there's fights, there's gunplay, and there's jokes, right? And I think as far as a casting standpoint, that Tom Holland was like the perfect person to become Nate, because it's a smooth transition from what he's done on Spider-Man. And he did say, like, before the movie came out, this was like the most challenging movie he's ever done because of the stunts that he had to do. It was cool to see him perform some of those things, and then also like see some of the mind-blowing events that occurred in the movie, like just like how the boats crashed and things like that. Like the amount of luck that Nathan Drake has in Uncharted is so wild. So it was cool to see that shine through in this movie. But I think one thing that I'm looking forward to in the next movie, or just in the future movies to come, is a little bit more exploration, right? Because that's one huge part of Uncharted. You know, there's not a whole bunch of time skips like how it is in the movie. We actually get to see Nathan climbing mountains and jumping from crazy things to crazy things to find the clues, to figure out the puzzle, to find the treasure and things like that. So if there was a little bit more of that, like it don't even have to be that much, essentially, I think that would make a huge difference. Because yes, there was riddles and yes, there were puzzles, but compared to the game, bruh, those were like rudimentary. But the last thing I wanted to talk about before I end this review is basically the future of Uncharted. Now, we did see that Nathan's brother Sam is alive, but we do see that he's still writing postcards to Nate. Then we also see Sully finally get his mustache in the end credits, and we get to see the next adventure that they're going to be embarking on, and that looks like it's going to be the Drake's Fortune. So I'm ecstatic, bro, about the future of this series now, because I feel like they'd open us up to, you know, possibly go on new adventures, right? Uncharted the game, you know, essentially is over. Now we're in the movie franchise. So the fact that we're starting with Nate so young, and possibly, you know, there's so much more to his story that we haven't even touched yet, has me super geeked for the future, man. So I'm excited. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm probably gonna need to go watch that joint again. I'm not even gonna cap. But as far as a rating for this movie, man, I'm gonna give it a solid 85 out of 100 G-File score. When I came out the theater, bruh, I was like, oh nah, it's a 90. It's a 90, bruh. But when I sat back and thought about the actual movie, I was like, nah, it was just a solid like introduction, you know what I'm saying, to the franchise, the people that might not have known anything about Uncharted. So from that standpoint, I think it was solid. I think it was a good movie, but that's just me. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed, and I'm gonna holla at y'all in the next video, man. Y'all be easy, y'all know the vibes. Always keep growing, so going. It's me, your boy G. I'm gone. Peace.